Hi, welcome back to Doing Life with Tina. It's been a while, life has been happening. I have been writing exams and I just finished last week Friday, and I am back with more goodies for you, my beautiful people. I have good news to share before I start my episode today. I got news. One of my friends who I was helping with their application to university, and they managed to get in, so I'm so excited. I am happy that these techniques work, so I'll be sharing more with you guys on writing statements. I think last time I was talking about the same thing, about writing statements. I talked about the tools that you can use, the AI tools that are used at your disposal to make that perfect statement that will get you into that university that you want to get into. I shared a little bit about how to write statements, but I never really took a deep dive. So today, my friends, I am going right in and sharing with you techniques or styles of writing. Today I'll be sharing one though. On this episode, I'll be sharing one technique that you can use to write. But maybe just a recap for what we shared last time. I remember last time I did make an emphasis on the importance of doing a research. You know, with every application, whether you're applying for work, whether you're applying for school, whatever it is that you're applying for, you need information. A winning application, it's one where you've done enough research and you have applied and you have aligned your skills to what you know they're looking for. So the first step is to make sure, like with all these styles, it's not a matter of just applying the style. When you have done adequate research and you apply the styles, it will get you that winning application. Today, I'm going to share one technique that I learned. It's quite new, but very, very effective. I mean new in terms of me getting to know it. It might have been there since a long time ago. And this is a star structure to the way that you're going to write your application. So when you've done your research, when you've figured out which area you fit into best, and now you're trying to come up with a structure of your statement, now you want to start writing, I'm just going to give a strategy of putting those ideas into a structure. So we have STAR, and the S stands for situation, the T stands for task, the A stands for action, and the R stands for results. This technique, funny enough, is something that I learned from school, but it was a technique to be used for an interview. But I realized that in every aspect of writing, right, there's always a structure of how you want it to flow to make sense. So you've researched about the school, you have come to an understanding of what you know what they're looking for. You know the type of students they want, you know the kind of students that they bring in, what they want from them, and just the character of that crowd. And you want your application to align to that as much as possible. But you're going to do that using your own personal story. So this is not something that you're making up. You're aligning it to those pieces of your experience that will qualify you for that university, for that application that you're going for. So, like I said, STAR, strategy, the STAR structure. So the S is for situation, the T is for task, the A is for action, and the R is for results. So the situation, you describe the situation, right? You're going to describe a situation of what you want to describe. This is, I think, is very good for questions where they're asking you, for example, explain a time when you came into a situation and you were able to solve it, right? So this kind of structure, I think, is good with those kind of questions. But I think you can still also play it around with any other question in terms of tracking the flow, depending on what the question is asking for. But I think it's very good for a question where you are asked to explain a situation where you came into something and you are trying to explain your experience. It could be a simple thing as explain why you have to be taken into a school, that particular school. So you can explain your background. Your situation could be that area that you've expounded on that aligns to what the school looks for. So you describe that situation, right? You're giving a bit of context, you're giving a bit of background to help the person to understand this situation that you have and how it aligns to that school. So you go in with the situation, and then you follow through with the task. So for example, you will explain what you did, right? So you explain what you have done, the things that align. For example, I think for this video, let's take an example of a situation where you're supposed to explain you did something that helped you to get results in that area that could be useful for the school that you're applying for. So you're going to go in and explain the task, right? What was the goal? What were you trying to achieve? You provide details into that this is what we were trying to achieve when you had that plan, that situation, and then you're going to explain the action. On the action part is where you provide details about the action you took in that situation, the steps you took maybe to align to the goal that you wanted for that particular situation, right? And then after that, you go into results, where you're going to conclude the result of your action. What did you learn from that? How did it help you move forward? What's the positive impact that you did? And if there was no impact, what lesson did you learn from this? Again, maybe just a reminder, there's some people who'd be like, oh, I failed. You don't want to come out as a failure. You don't want to write in a statement, I failed to do something. No, it's best to approach it from a lesson point of view. This is what I learned, and this I believe is what I could have done better. You need to show them that you're aware and that you had that kind of like initiative to still want to go on despite the difficulty that you faced. So that's kind of like what you want to show. Maybe a little tip on when you're choosing your story. You have to choose a story that's relatable. You're applying for a school of engineering. Whatever story that you're going to add should somehow be related to engineering. You can't talk about engineering and then you're adding in philosophy. You're adding in an example of something totally mathematics or totally different, IT, these are like two different things. So you need to make sure that as you're responding, even your experiences align to that thing. Even what your experiences and what you've done in life somehow connects you to it. It shows how you've taken an initiative to align yourself within that field, and you're trying to show them what you have done and what you are willing to learn and what you can contribute when you get into the class. I think another thing that I can add is for example, if you don't have like maybe an example, I know some people would say, oh, but I don't have an experience, I'm just coming from school. Let's say maybe you're coming from undergrad or you're coming from secondary school. There will still be something. It can be something that is like, for example, a moral, ethical issue. Maybe it could be an example of family back home, something that you did. There's always a linkage. It doesn't necessarily have to be work related. It doesn't have to be something that you did when you were working. As you were in school, what did you serve as? Were you, I think in Malawi we like to say head girl, were you the school president? Those things you can explain to show that you, maybe for example, you had some experience in leadership, anything. If you were active in like, for example, school clubs, those are things that you can bring out to your application. It doesn't always have to relate to work. Another thing is you can't use the same story for Essay 1, Essay 2, Essay 3. No, you have to find something different. So if you talk about one experience in Essay 1, for example, you cannot repeat the same one in Essay 2. So find a list of your stories that align to, or your experiences that align to the questions, and for each draft an essay aligning all of them to the school goals, to what the school is looking for. So for example, if you do not have like maybe an example, say you don't have an example, you for example generalize or adjust. You can generalize the question. You can respond to it as something maybe that you're willing to do. If you do not have any example, if you do not have any experience in that field, you can show your willingness or certain things that you have done in trying to get that experience that you want. And another one is avoid the language of ambiguity, right? Don't make it sound like we did this, we and my friends did this, like you never did it alone. What they want to hear is your experience. So talk about this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. They want you to show those leadership skills, that initiative that you as an individual took, and not necessarily the group initiative or a team initiative. So try to be more realistic, give examples, don't be ambiguous. Make sure that these are solid examples. Don't leave it in the air for someone to decide, but make it personal, giving your personal experiences, your personal examples. And another thing that I can say, I think it's always key to have someone to review your essays. Because even now that I'm in school, when I do my papers, I have friends, I have my peers that I'll send my paper to review it for me. I'll send to other professors to review it for me, because I know that sometimes when you're writing, you're in one mind, right? There are certain things that you might skip. So it's the same thing as you're doing your essays, as you're doing your applications for work, for school. Have someone to review it, and that means that you need to do it on time to have someone to review. I hope that this STAR strategy has been helpful to you, and that is going to help you in your journey in applying for that job, in applying for that school. You go get it. You can do this. Thank you and bye.